Hi, Hi everyone. It's so great to share the hour here with you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for the introduction, Karen. And on the screen, you've probably already seen this. And as Karen mentioned, it's more fun if you have a camera on, just because we're going to do some activities. I have some rhythm sticks. If you don't have rhythm sticks, pens or pencils or markers or something like that will help. And then I have a couple of small bean bags. You can use bean bags, or you could use like a small stuffed animal or a stress ball if you have that sitting around at your desk. And then the last piece that I'm going to encourage as a manipulative is something that is a scarf. You could use a fashion scarf if you've got something that you're wearing. You could use a tissue paper, but this will give us an opportunity to put some of what we're going to practice into action, and that you can sort of get used to it. So that's the preamble here as we get in together. But I want to just spend a little bit of time getting to know who is in the audience. So you are welcome to unmute. You're also welcome to use the chat function here. But if you could tell me what ages you teach, that would be helpful for me as we frame this presentation. So I'll wait a second for responses in the chat or as you unmute. 4 to 5, twos to threes, great. 3 to 5, 4 to 7, twos to threes, beautiful. Kindergarten, 3 to 5, 5 to 6, 3 to 5, preschool, K5,
Four to
one and a
five.
half, 4 to 5. Great. Okay. Beautiful. 0 to 5. Okay, good. So we do have some people that are sort of on the younger end. So when I model some of our presentations, I'm going to try to really say, here's how I would do it for infants and into toddlers, and here's how I would do it for preschool and then pre-K, and help build it out that way. Great. On a scale of 1 to 5, and those of you that are on camera, you can just give me your hand here. If you're on chat, go ahead and type in a number. How often are you already using music in your classroom space? 1 to 5. 5. 5, 5, 5. Great. Beautiful. Okay, good. So we have people that are already sort of interested in music and they're engaging with it. Same question, but this time, rather than how often are you using music, I want to know, how often are you using your singing voice in your classroom space, in your teaching space? 5. Good. I love the emphatic fives. Great. Okay. Lovely. Good. We'll talk more about that as we get going, but I'm glad to see that people are already engaging with music, both in how they're doing instruction, but also in using their voice, because that is really important. Just a little bit of a background about me. My name is Katie Palmer. I'm the Senior Director of Education and Community Engagement here at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. I'm located in Nashville, Tennessee. Prior to my time in Nashville, I served as the curator of education at an institution called the Musical Instrument Museum, which is located in Phoenix, Arizona. And during my time in Phoenix, I led programming that sort of went across the early childhood spectrum, everything from sort of the itty bitties and the pre-Kers all the way into the grade school age. And we focused on content that was musical and was from around the world, and was diverse. And so a lot of the activities that you're getting today are things that have inspired me from my time at MIM, and that I developed during my time at MIM. The content of the MIM galleries is based on global music making, and so we're going to be singing in some other languages today. We're going to be approaching music making with some more, what I'm hoping is some more open-earedness for you, open-mindedness as well. And maybe you'll find some different activities that you haven't thought about before, or you'll find ways to employ activities that you've done in a different way. I also spent a year as a fellow at the Fred Rogers Institute in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And during my time there, I developed activities that looked at diversifying music making and listening in early childhood spaces. And so all of this is going to sort of inform the session that we're going to spend together. I have sort of two primary up top objectives, which is, I want you to have a better understanding of musical play, and I want you to find ways to incorporate music into your early childhood setting. But on the back end of this presentation, and by the back end, I mean the second half of this presentation, we're really going to spend time playing together, hence the manipulatives and some of this early on discussion to know sort of where you are in your own personal music making. So as we get started, I just want to share any questions or intentions that you may have based on attending today. I oftentimes, in my early childhood work, I framed this question like, how do we make early childhood spaces more musical? And the further I got into the work, I realized these spaces are already very, very musical. And the question that I felt I should be asking is, how do we recognize and honor the music in children's lives? So what is your question, or what is your intention, and what do you hope? Another way to say this is like, what do you hope to get out of this professional development and this experience? And you can unmute again, or you are welcome to put it into the chat function as well. Great. So more variety of ways to use instruments, great. New ideas, including new music for teaching, new ideas, movement, more games, songs, learn new ideas to foster music, new songs, more ways, more confidence, good, confidence is good. Fun new songs, get some more ideas on music, new ideas and movement. Perfect. Y'all are in the right spot. Alyssa, I don't have a ton of transition songs, but I'm gonna build them in for you. New movement songs, we've got circle games, and new songs they can learn every day. Great. All right. Lessons, make songs with our lesson such as community workers.
Also,
right.
Do you have any like songs? I just got a band and I can't think of, it's like Wolf. I can't remember the company I got it from. But like more band songs. It's a huge band for like 20 kids. We do like Row Your Boat, things like that. I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It comes in like a kit, and so everybody has like a different instrument that they can use.
No, it is a big rubber band. Like, and the kids all sit around it. Band, yes.
A stretchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. So I'm kind of looking for more like songs to go with that as well. Like we use like a lot of like riding the bicycle, Row Your Boat, up and down songs. But it's still new to me, so I would love more songs to go with that.
Okay, great. I will include those when we get into circle games, and I've got a couple. I don't have the annotations in the music here, but we can certainly hit that. So I will not forget. And how to get staff to engage with infant and toddlers. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. So you have some people have staff that are using music, but maybe not using their voices. I love it. Stretchy bands. I'm in it. Okay. Great start. Okay, before we get into the activities themselves, I just want to talk a little bit about play, and I want to talk a little bit about music, because I want to frame us around this idea of what is musical play to help guide our play together, knowing that you will facilitate this play. So I have sort of this open-ended question. What is play? Does anybody want to give me a definition, either in the chat function or you can unmute, but what is play to you? Exploration. Yeah, good. Child's work. Yes. Fun exploration. Good. Engaging. The work of children, connecting creativity, interacting with the world around them, having fun through curiosity. Yeah, I love all of these definitions. This is great. Making activities fun, exciting observation. I love the verbs of what you are using. These are all great play definitions. One definition of play that I enjoy is that it's a state of being that's suspended in an enjoyable activity. So this idea that we're playing sort of when we're suspended. And there's a lot of research around play. Some of it may be familiar to you, and there's certainly more than what I'm presenting here. This text, Play, written by Stuart Brown, looks at play over the years and over the ages and stages. And so a lot of books on play talk just about play in childhood. But what Dr. Brown does so masterfully is that he talks about play across the spectrum of aging. And he gives us sort of like 7 properties of play that he would say, these are the things you need for something to be play. Some of them really resonate with me. Others I say, we could take it or leave it. But the idea of like improvisational potential and a continuation of desire, I think, is fundamental to play. And importantly, Dr. Brown tells us that the opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression, and that we should hold on to play all through our life's stages, really because it is foundationally important to us as humans. Other great texts on play, this Pasi Salzburg, Let the Children Play. This looks at the Finnish education system, and my big takeaway here is, not only are the Finnish education system one of the best in the world, but for every 45 minutes of seated instruction, they have 15 minutes of big body movement, right? And so the importance of movement to learning and how that comes into play is stressed in this text. We have theorists that have looked at play from constructivist approaches. You may remember from your studies Piaget and Vygotsky. Piaget, of course, talked about play, and he gave different stages of play here: functional play, constructive play, symbolic play, and games with rules that you sort of ladder up to. You'll see Mildred Parton's stages of play here in a second as well. And then Vygotsky talks about the zone of proximal development. So there are things that I can do, there are things that I cannot yet do. In order to get between these two places, I enter what he would call the zone of proximal development. And importantly, Vygotsky tells us that in play, a child is always above his average age, above his daily behavior. In play, it's as though the child was a head taller than themselves. And so he posits that we learn through play, and that in play, we're often in that zone of proximal development. So we're going to do a couple of activities that I am going to sort of try to get you in your zone of proximal development. It'll be something new, it'll be something different, it may stretch you, just as a way to show that that is where our growth begins to happen. Here's our stages of play. I share the Parton stages of play. They really resonate with the Piaget stages, but I share them because here we are, 1929 dissertation. We have over 100 years of play research and thought, and in early childhood spaces and beyond, we're still having to advocate for play. And so when I think about musical play, I want to make sure that we're still keeping that advocacy for play inside it, because that is where, as you have all said, creativity happens. And as Fred Rogers told us, this is the full quote, that in fact, play is the real work of childhood, right? So that's just a little bit on play to help ground us. This is where we're coming from, over 100 years of play scholarship and research, to help inform how we're going to get into musical play. So I have another sort of big question for you. What is music? Sound? Yeah, good. Joy? Yeah. Organized sound, great. Rhythm, music, emotions, creating, beautiful. Organization of notes, yes. Freedom of expression. I love it. There are so many ways to think about music, and you guys are right on the right track here. It's about so much more than just the product of music. Some people use this definition, human organized sound. There's this idea of sort of like perception and intention, and so oftentimes what we perceive is human organized sound as music, may be different than the intention. I'm into interspecies music making, so the human part of it, we could geek out on that. That's a whole different webinar though. I just want you to think open-endedness when you think about music. So I have a couple examples here, because what I really want you to walk away with is this idea that music and sounds carry meaning, and that meaning begins to inform how we think about the world around us. So I have an example. Nod your head or give me a thumbs up when you recognize the piece of music. We did not get very far, opening 4 notes, 4 beats. It's pomp and circumstance. You're going to graduation. Depending on the size of the school you work at and how long you've been there, you may have had to sit through a number of graduations. But for most people, this sound really begins to signify joy and, commencement, and this idea of something ending and something new beginning. And it's a joyful sound. Let me give you another example. How many of you were transported to an arena or a sporting event of some time? Yeah, you've got it, Queen. We will rock you. So these are sounds that carry sort of social meaning, right? Cultural meaning for us. Commencement is a time that many of us share. This idea of an arena or a sporting event. These are sounds that are part of our culture. Here's another one. Yes, good. I gave up the goose here with what you're listening to, but of course it's Fred Rogers, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" So many of us associate that sound with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. If you have not watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, that sound may not mean much to you. And I want to give you, so we've got some familiar examples. I want to give you what may be unfamiliar to you. Great. And I see some people nodding your heads. You're probably recognizing this as Hindustani music from northern India. And if you're familiar with this sound, that opening couple of seconds gives you a lot of meaning. You say, oh, I know what the sound is. I know where these instruments come from, and I have an idea of the understanding of this. So all of this is to say that we create associations with the sounds around us, musical and otherwise. They're not always positive. I mean, here's an example of one that I hear pretty much every morning. This is my alarm, right, for when I get up. So these associations become really important because what I want you to think about is, and music and sound, and you've already gotten there through your chat functionality, is that music is so much more than sort of the product, but it's sounds around us. If what you see is a landscape, what you hear is a soundscape. And so these ideas that musical soundscapes, whether they're commercial or otherwise, they become really important to how music is surrounding us. And young children don't often have the ability to pick their musical soundscape, right? All of us don't have that ability, but as adults, we're able to sort of pick what we want to listen to throughout the day. Although when you go to someplace like the grocery store or another retail space, they're serving you a musical soundscape, whether or not you have chosen it. I am now of the age where the grocery store is playing my jams, which tells me that I think I have officially crossed over into middle age. So when we think about ways of use for music, you've got this musical soundscape that happens all around us. That's the music you play in your classroom that you put on automatically, that children may or may not be having a voice in what's going on in the background. There's music for structure. So that's musicking that may mark a time of day or a transition. For kids in the classroom, this is the song that is, let us make a circle, a nice round circle, let us make a circle nice and round, right? Or it's follow, follow, follow me, let's make a line for all to see, right? Or it's your hand washing song. These are the moments that help you mark those transitions. Those were a couple of sound examples for you if you were looking for some transitional music. There's also things like intentional musical experiences. And with musical play, what we facilitate is this attentional musical experience, that attentive music making, listening, concerts, classes, that circle time that is music focused. That's going to be an intentional musical experience. And the goal here is that when you have these three things sort of working together, I'll get to this word in a second, that you end up with really rich personal music making coming from children and from others. And you may notice on this slide that I'm using a term, I'm using musicking, which would be music as a verb. So it is the process of music. This is brilliant, and I did not come up with it. It's important that I recognize Christopher Small, who was a musician, educator, lecturer, author, and so much more, who coined this term in 1988 in a text of the same name. But I want you, as a facilitator of musical play, to think about music as the process and not as the product because then you're going to be able to take activities and ideas and you're going to be able to transform them into something new and different. And it's going to leave you more open-minded to the music that you can make together. So we've talked about play, we've talked about music, and I want to sort of frame musical play, and what I think you need are sort of like 6 things to really make sure that musical play is effective in your space. The first of these is that musical play needs to be child-centered. So you need to meet the kids where they're at and follow them. Kids self-regulate, children self-regulate through play. And so keying in on that improvisational aspect is going to be key. I often tell the story of my friend Alex, who was 3 years old when I worked with him. He's no longer 3. But he would come to my music class at the museum on Saturday mornings with Mom, and 1 week he came with Dad, which was great, and he showed up early, great. But Dad took him across the way and bought him a Sprite. And so before Alex came in to a 45-minute music making session, he had consumed 20 ounces of carbonated sugar water, right? And Alex is already a kid that's got to move. So we sing our circle song, let us make a circle, a nice round circle, let us make a circle nice and round. And we get into our hello song, sing hello to everyone, to everyone, to everyone, sing hello to everyone, sing hello. And the whole time Alex is doing a circle completely around me going 3 rules of my classroom. If you are not going to hurt yourself, if you are not going to hurt somebody else, and the activity can still go on, you are welcome to self-regulate however you need to, right? Because even though I may perceive it as inattentive, chances are children are listening and watching and learning, even when they're on their self-regulation and they're doing their own thing. Rather than go to a finger activity, I moved immediately into a song that met Alex where he was at. So I said, Alex, can we sing hello to you? He said, yes. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm a boat. I said, should we sing hello as if we're all boats? He said, yes. So we stood up, we were boats. Sing hello to Alex like a motorboat, like a motorboat. Right? And then immediately went into row, row, row your boat. Right? So I took Alex's suggestions and ideas, followed him, and that's how we entered our musical play session together. Musical play, the energy you put out is the energy you get back. And so if you come to it with enthusiasm, you're going to be met with enthusiasm. Here's an example of this. Show me your 10 wiggly fingers, please. 10 wiggly fingers wiggle from side to side. 10 wiggly fingers going for a ride. 10 wiggly fingers wiggle up and down. 10 wiggly fingers wiggle right on down to town. 10 wiggly fingers wiggle round and round. 10 wiggly fingers don't make a single sound. 10 wiggly fingers playing hide and seek. Now they're gone, don't peek. Beautiful, show me your 10 wiggly fingers again. 10 wiggly fingers wiggle from side to side. 10 wiggly fingers going for a ride. 10 wiggly fingers wiggle up and down. 10 wiggly fingers wiggle right on down to town. 10 wiggly fingers wiggle round and round. 10 wiggly fingers don't make a single sound. 10 wiggly fingers playing hide and seek. Oh, now they're gone, don't peek. Show me with your fingers, 1 or 2. Which did you prefer? 2, yes. And I was more enthusiastic, of course, but my enthusiasm was demonstrated through my pacing, through my tone, through my inflection, and through my variation, right? And so we can take that enthusiasm and we can start to assign words to it so you know how to present enthusiastically. Beautiful. Instructions need to be concise. How you present musical materials is how you will be met. So if you present them in a chaotic way, you will be met in a chaotic way. I know this because I have lived it numerous times. So if I say, all right, everybody, come get your scarves. When I turn around, take 2, I'm going to be met with people, the young children, sort of coming at me really quickly. If I say, I have something special to share with you. I have scarves. I'm going to bring them to the circle. And when I point to you, it's your turn to take 2, please. Then go back to your seat. That's a very different response. So I stop, I breathe, I give the instruction and then I move. I am a naturally quicker paced person than I should be. Speed is my blessing and my curse. And so, working in early childhood, I have to make that point to stop, breathe, give the instruction, and then move, right? That concise instruction is really important. Activities that we'll do, you can modify for age and stage, and you should modify for age and stage. I will say this is how I do this for infants and toddlers. This is how I do it for preschool. This is how I do it for pre-K. And I think I have a couple that will age up into kinder and olders, but just know these activities are things I have done across the spectrum, and that most of your activities are adaptable. You just need to follow the children and give those concise instructions. And then the last two, it should be ongoing. It's not enough to do it once. My general rule of thumb is 4 times at least through any activity. Repetition is incredibly important in how we learn. Research says I need to repeat something 5 to 7 times for you to remember it. And in early childhood, that repetition piece, I think about it as one of the 4 R's of early childhood. Lastly, it should be fun. I hope that you enjoy the activities. I hope that you enjoy playing with the children, because that's where the joy is caught. Fred would tell us, he often cited a Quaker saying. He would say, attitudes are caught, not taught. And so this is our opportunity to help kids catch a positive association, not just with music, but the meaning that music carries. And that's where the diversification, I think, comes in. If you don't know, now you know, music is great for you. It helps with your cognitive abilities, including language and pre-language development, our social emotional skills, our physical abilities, helps children prepare to enter school, and of course, musical milestones. I'm often asked about language development and musical development and how they go side by side. If you're interested in that, here's sort of the chart of how those things happen. Gordon Music Learning Theory, this website here, he's really sort of Edwin Gordon is the founder of this thought in particular in this diagram. But the whole idea is that before anything happens, we're all listening. A fetus is here in the womb. That's why the mother's voice is so important. And as we begin to vocalize and sing and chant, that ultimately leads into something called audiating. Audiating is hearing pitches before you sing them. And so see if you can finish my musical phrase. What note comes next? Some of you may be singing do, right? And if you got to that phrase, you audiated that pitch. All that means is that you and we speak the same musical language. You have most likely been raised in the United States or in Western Europe, and we have sort of the same tonal center. But it's really fascinating, the research behind audiation. And so much of what I'm trying to get kids to do is bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, bum. I'm strengthening this relationship in these calls between the pitches. If you are a musician, in general, I'm doing a 5-1 dominant tonic. If you are not a musician, high-low, right? It's just getting them to think about musical pitches and differentiating them. You don't need to do all that, though, to facilitate musical play. I give you this piece as just like a point to geek out on, right? If you're really interested in it, you can go deeper. Here's your example. But it's sort of a nice to know, but not a must-have in your play sessions. Beautiful. That's the first half. That's the theory portion. Before we move on to play, does anybody have any questions about sort of that quick deep dive into both play and musical play? No questions. Great. Helpful or not helpful? Did this help ground you in some of what we're going to do next? Okay. Beautiful. I love it. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to start with some scarves to begin with. So find anything that you can move around. I was singing sort of just a melody. The good news about scarf play is that you really can sing sort of any melody that you like. So let's go back to that melody and just move however you want. Up and down. Behind your back. Slow motion. Opposite of slow is fast. You've got it. What I'm trying to get you to do is to move freely. I'm not doing this is the beat song. I'm just getting you to move your body. There's some research that indicates your ability to move freely and children's ability to move freely links to better language skills later on and pre-language skills. And this has to do with the connection between rhythm and language. The speech components come together, but what you're doing by helping them move freely is feel the space in between the beats. This is an idea out of Cynthia Taggart. She came out of that Gordon sort of lineage of music thinking and teaching, but this idea of the space in between the beats is where you actually begin to be able to do the dum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum 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 bum. Right? So moving freely and then into something that's a little bit more directive. I would love to do just sort of a lullaby with you. So take your scarf, scrunch, 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 take whatever you have, scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. This is how I do it with my toddlers. I say my little scarf is a kitty cat. Kitty cat say meow, meow. I'm going to take my kitty cat, I'm going to give it a big hug, and I'm going to sway side to side. I'm swaying side to side because I'm crossing my midline, right? I'm crossing this one on my left to right. La linda manita que tiene el bebé, que linda, que bella, que preciosa es. Take your scarf, put it over your back, go back and forth. La linda manita que tiene el bebé, que linda, que bella, que preciosa es. Take your scarf, put it on your head, your kitty cat. Make a big circle with your body. La linda manita que tiene el bebé, que linda, que bella, que preciosa es. Last one, put it on your shoulder. Give it a big hug. La linda manita que tiene el bebé, que linda, que bella, que preciosa es. Beautiful. Are your kitties sleeping? Yes. Wake them up. Wake up. I did it 4 times. I did the previous one 4 times, right? That's that idea of doing it at least 4 times for the repetition piece. And here, I'm just trying to get them to move their bodies. I'm trying to get them to take a deep breath, to do some self-regulation. And in our body movement, I'm crossing midlines, whether it's my left, right, or my front, back. I'm making a big circle with my body. With my older kids, I have them fold the scarf themselves. So they would put it out in front of them. They would go from a square into a rectangle. And then you put it down and you say, fold your bottom 2 corners up. Now you have an even smaller rectangle, right? And so here we are scaffolding upon shapes and ideas and concepts, things that we already know and that we're already doing. You may, if you have something that can get into this sort of like rectangle format, that would be great, because what we're going to do next is we're going to get into our zone of proximal development. I am going to add a bean bag. You could add a stuffed animal or something else, but I'm creating a hammock. You see my hammock? Yeah, perfect. This is really great as they get older and the fine motor skills get better. So I do it as young as older toddler, so like 2.5 into 3, depending on fine motor skill. But I'm trying to get them to balance it. So here we go. La linda manita que tiene el bebé, que linda, que bella, que preciosa es. Beautiful. You are now 4 and 5 years old, and we're gonna go bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. So I took my scarf and I had my hammock happening. I put my arms close together and then I pull apart really quickly. What do you think happens? I pop up my beanbag and it pops into the air. You have to have a lot of coordination, bilateral coordination, right, to pull them apart in real time and get the beanbag to pop. We believe in multiple opportunities for success. So this is one that we do again and again and again. And as they get older and they can gain direction on the beanbag, you could encourage them to catch it. So wherever you are and whatever you have, try it with me. La linda manita que tiene el bebé, que linda, que bella, que preciosa es. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. Pop your beanbag. You've got it. Okay, last time, try to catch it yourself. La linda manita que tiene el bebé, que linda, que bella, que preciosa es. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. Throw and catch. Yeah, you've got it. Well done. So you can build from scarf activity into something that's imaginative, like babies, scarf babies. I do that in another one and did a little bit of that here with a kitty cat. Or you can build it into what is the shape of this scarf? How can we manipulate the shape of this scarf? In this instance, we go to a long rectangle, right? And then we find ways to pop it. Any song that you do this with is just fine. Another song that you could do would be Arirang. Rather than do the hammock, let's just move our bodies however we want. Scrunch, 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 scrunch. Throw and catch. Right? So that's more free movement. Let's do it again so that you can get the melody in your head. Scrunch, 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 scrunch. Very nice, beautiful. You may have noticed that this piece is the lyrics I sang. I just sang syllables. I sang do 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 do. You may notice that it is in Korean. This is a Korean folk song. My Korean is not great, and so Gordon, that music learning theory that we talked about earlier, would tell you that you can really sing any song on any syllable and it is still beneficial, and that we're really just building that tonal awareness, and that doing songs without words is just as valuable, he would argue it's more valuable, than doing songs with words. So feel free to explore different melodies or different pieces, even if you're not completely confident in the lyrics, because at the end of the day, that syllable play, do or la, ba or da, whichever one you want, is going to have benefits, and those are pre-language and language benefits that help with cognition, because you're really just starting to build out a tonal vocabulary. So this is one way you can do scarves. Of course, you can add in your traditional, the wheels on the bus, right? You can do, this is the way we bounce our scarves, we bounce our scarves, we bounce our scarves. This is the way we bounce our scarves so early in the morning, and just change the direction and change the activity. But the intention here is that you end up with something that has flow to it, some imaginative play, and in this instance with the beanbags combined, we're working on our bilateral coordination and development and strengthening whatever sort of geometric math concepts we're working with as well. So that's an idea for some scarf play. There are certainly so many great scarf play ideas, but that's just a jumping off point for you. All right, I want to get into some more beat keeping. So with scarves, we started with this idea of flow and movement and revisited that. We're going to get into something that's more steady beat keeping with some direction. These are Lumi sticks. So they're a little bit shorter. They come in like 8 inches, 10 inches. These are great for smaller hands. You may have the really long sticks. I find those to be a little bit of a challenge with 5 and under, so I really love a Lumi stick. That's my play for Lumi sticks, but follow me. Tap your sticks and tap, tap your sticks, bum, 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 tap your sticks and tap, tap your sticks, bum, 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 tap your sticks and tap, tap your sticks, and freeze. Ain't that funky? And pound your sticks and pound, pound your sticks, bump, 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 pound your sticks and pound, pound your sticks, bump, 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 pound your sticks and pound your sticks, and freeze. Ain't that funky? And tap your sticks and tap, tap your sticks, bump, 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 tap your sticks and tap, tap your sticks, bump, 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 tap your sticks and tap, tap your sticks, and freeze. Ain't that funky? And drum the ground and drum, drum the ground, bum, 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 drum the ground and drum, drum the ground, bum, 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 drum the ground and drum, drum the ground, and freeze. Ain't that funky? So steady beat keeping, obviously, but that pause in the middle, that's me trying to get you to feel the beat, right? So when I go freeze, ain't that funky? In my head, I'm counting freeze, 2, 3, 4, down. Ain't that funky? And right? So it's a syncopated rhythm. It just means that it's off a little bit. All of that is stop and go. So you've got to stop your steady beat, and then you got to start your steady beat. It's a good introduction to sticks, because what I like to do next with sticks, and here's that melody that I was singing. I adapted this from something about Humpty Dumpty. So the original author of this did Humpty Dumpty Hump, Humpty Dumpty Dumpty Humpty Dumpty Hump, Humpty Dumpty Dumpty Hump. Super fun. I love it as a stick song. That's that idea of you can modify and change and be child-centered. The next thing I like to do is I love to introduce music, notes, and reading. And we had such a great study of this when I was in Phoenix with a preschool that I worked with, where the students developed their own musical language. And they had already developed an idea of like booms and badas, and sort of notated that. And then we introduced quarter notes and eighth notes. All of that to say it came together in this beautiful way. It's talked a little bit about in the white paper I'll share with you later. But I've done this activity in preschools, in diverse classroom settings with littles, in caregiver-only things. I've done it online, and it works really well, and teaches left to right reading, and it's an early form of literacy. So this is how I introduce it. I say, this is a quarter note. Can you say quarter note? Quarter note. When we see quarter notes, we're going to say walk. So on my screen, how many quarter notes do I have? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you say walk 4 times? Walk, 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 walk. Beautiful. Take your alligator hands and clap walk 4 times with me. Walk, 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 walk. Great. If you've got instruments, you can play it. Walk, 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 walk. You've got it. My next note is called an eighth note. Can you say eighth note? Yes. And when we see eighth notes, we say running. So let's look at some eighth notes together. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of eighth notes. Let's say running 4 times. Ready? Running, 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 running. Beautiful. Let's clap it. Alligator hands. You notice I'm using alligator hands because you're not crossing the midline. This is an up down. Running, 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 running. Beautiful. Play it on your rhythm sticks. Running, 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 running. I love it. Oh, I've got some eighth notes and quarter notes together. Let's look at it. What does this say? And the kids tell me, they say that's running. This is running. This is walk. and this is walk. So we're gonna say it, we're gonna clap it, we're gonna play it. Let's say it. Running, running, walk. Walk, let's clap it. Running, running, walk. Walk, let's play it. Running, running, walk. Walk. Very nice. Here's another one. What's this one say? Walk, walk, running, running. Let's clap it together. Walk, walk, running, running. Let's play it. Walk, walk, running, running. Great. And what I'm looking for primarily is like, are they saying it correctly, and are we reading it correctly? The next thing I introduce, and this is the last one I do typically with this group, is this is called an a quarter note rest. Can you say quarter note rest? Rest. And when we say this note, we say shh, right? So we're adding, if you're a musician, you're like, you don't say shh, but we're adding a sound value to it to help with our reading. So what does this rhythm say? Oops, I've expanded my chat. Here we go. It says walk, running, walk, shh, right? Let's clap it. Walk, running, walk, shh. You've got it. Let's play it. Walk, running, walk, shh. Yeah, very nice. Once they get to this stage, I give them cards. I give them little flashcards. I say, please come take 4 flashcards. And it's a mixture of all of these notes that I have cut out. And those are available, like a version of those flashcards that you can cut out is available in the Google Drive link so that you've got that. You just cut it out and you say, you can take 4, and then you encourage them to put them in whatever order they want, right? So do yourselves a favor. If you have a piece of paper in front of you and a marker, go ahead and write out what a 4-note pattern could look like. I'll do one as well if I didn't lose my pen, which I may have. No, there it is. And then once you have it, just hold it up to the screen and we can do a couple of these in real time. The beauty of doing it in flashcard form is that they only have 4. If you have them write it themselves independently, you will get impossibly long note patterns, which is super fun. I love it. But depending on how many you've got, it's hard to manage. Great. Debbie's got one to hold up. Beautiful. Debbie's pattern is walk, running, shh, running. Let's clap it. Here we go. And walk, running, shh, running. And then we'd play it like this and go. Walk, running, shh, running. Yeah, good. Megan's got a pattern up. It goes shh, running, walk, shh, right? Shh, running, walk, shh. And when I do this with my 3 to 5s, I have them tell me the pattern and then we all say it together. But this repetition of say it, clap it, play it is a really solid progression. Anybody else want to share their patterns? Beautiful. Joy's got a pattern. It goes walk, shh, running, shh, clap it, walk, shh, running, shh. Yeah. And then as they get more used to this and they do it more often, you can have them put all of their patterns together and you can create like a train of patterns, and then you have to read it all together in real time, which is a really fun challenge. If you're worried about scaffolding this, scaffold walk and running, and then add in the shh. So I sort of do this, I'll start this as the kiddos are approaching late toddlerhood, and I'll just use two rhythms, and then as they get much older, we'll introduce more rhythms. It's super fun. I love it. It's engaging. Oftentimes when I introduce this in a pre-K setting, the teacher will be like, I don't think that's going to work. And then we do it together and it indeed works. And so we're working on those pre-literacy skills through some music making, and you can add instruments. And I'll say you can use these types of instruments, rhythm sticks or things like that, but you could also do egg shakers, or you could do spoons, or you could really do anything that has some sort of noise making component to it. Beautiful. You've written your own thing. All right, let's talk circle games. I know somebody had a stretchy band. So rather than go immediately into the ones I have here, I just want to give you some ideas for a stretchy band. Let us pretend we're holding a stretchy band, and my friend that was talking about stretchy bands said you had gone up and down, and then you had gone forwards and backwards, and then you had done row, row, row your boat. And I want to give you a new idea with that stretchy band. Ours is colored, so we have a whole bunch of different colors on it. And so I have them all hold one color, and you can do anything like row, row, row your boat, which we'll do in a minute. But I also just want to encourage you to explore different melodies. It doesn't much matter. Let's try making soup. It's a melody I use for soup. Do, 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 do. That's one I've already used. Do, 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 do. Let's go back to Ain't It Funky. So forwards and backwards. Do, 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 do. Do 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 do, and freeze. I'm going to go over one color, and this is where they all have to go to their right, and the stretchy band moves one color. And again, do 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 do, and freeze. Let's go over two colors. 1, 2, right? You see where I'm going with this? The next thing I would do, obviously 3 colors, getting them to move it all in one clockwise motion takes a little bit of time, but then I put flashcards in the middle of the circle, and inside those flashcards are, I usually use animal flashcards, so I have 1 alligator or 2 penguins and 3 hippopotamus. So each child then gets an opportunity to go into the circle and come out with a flashcard, and that's however many numbers we move over, right? So I would say, great, Sarah, go to the center, bring me a card, bring the card out. It looks like, oh, let's count our alligators. 1, 2, 3. Let's go over 3 colors. 1, 2, 3. And then I say, Sarah, should we move fast or slow? And so I'm giving them some choice in that conversation, and usually it's fast, right? Do 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 do, and freeze. And then I'd say, Joy, go get a card, bring it out. All right. So that's one way that you're giving student choice, and you're still using the stretchy band. And you can go forwards and backwards with that stretchy band. You can go up and down with that stretchy band, but you've got lots of options. As one. That's just one activity, but there are some others that I think, you can stand with it and sit with it. Let us get into a circle game, great for all ages. This is call and response. It's kind of like a version of head, shoulders, knees, and toes, but it's from Ghana. And so there's a melody here. There's also a really famous Hector Lavoe salsa cover of this. And so my melody is like somewhere in between Che Che Koule from Hector Lavoe and the traditional. But repeat after me. Che Che Koule, Che Che Koule, Che Che Kofisa, Che Che Kofisa, Kofisa Langa, Kofisa Langa, Kakashe Langa, Kakashelanga, to your toes. Kum adinde, kum adinde, kum adinde, kum adinde, hey. And the point is to A, call and response. So I sing, you sing. Keep a steady beat on your body at different points. If you couldn't tell, I didn't back up quick enough. I had my chair in my way. Che Che Koule to head. Che Che Kofisa to shoulders. Kofisa Langa to hips. Kakashe Langa to your knees, Kum Adinde to your toes, and then everybody comes together on Hey at the end. For the kids that are older, I've done this a lot, especially like when I'm internationally teaching, and so like my kids in Tanzania and East Africa love this song because it becomes a game. And if you get to Hey at the end too early or too late, you're out, right? So let's do it a couple more times. Che Che Koule, Che Che Kofisa, Che Che Kofisa, Kofisa Langa, Kofisa Langa, Kakashe Langa, Kakashe Langa, Kum Adinde, Kum Adinde, Kum Adinde, Kum Adinde, hey. Yeah, you've got it. Then from there, you can slow it down. Che, che, kool-aid. Che, che, kool-aid. Che, che, coffee, sa. Che, che, coffee, sa. Coffee, salanga. Coffee, salanga. Chakashilanga, kakashilanga, kum adinde, kum adinde, kum adinde, kum adinde, hey. Yeah, good. And of course, the opposite of slow is fast. So I often will take this and level it up to the point of like che che kool-aid, che che kool-aid, che che kofisa, kofisa langa, kakashilanga, kakashilanga, kumarinde, 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 hey. Right? Super fun. And then anytime I'm doing a song from another culture, which many of these have been, I always locate it on a map. I am geographically grounding our music and where it's from and talking about people and places. Sometimes I show a video, but it really helps to build out context. So that's one circle song from West Africa. If we go to East Africa, this is another one. And for this one, I am going to stand. And I'll give it to you in English first. It goes, I got to go backwards. It goes, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, jumping, 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 stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, jumping, 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 stand up, sit down, tag, and walking, and walking, and walking, and walking, jumping, 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 stand up, sit down, and running, and running, and running, and running, jumping, 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 stand up, sit down. Very nice. You've got the motions, and now I'm going to change the words. Same motions. Si mama ka, si mama ka, ruka ruka ruka, si mama ka, si mama ka, si mama ka, ruka ruka ruka, si mama ka, tembeya 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 tembeya, ruka ruka ruka, si mama ka, kimbia 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 kimbia, ruka ruka ruka, si mama ka. With my pre-K, 4s and 5s, I asked them, what does si mama mean? What does ka mean? Si mama means stand up. Ka means sits down. What do you think ruka means? Jumping. Tembeya is walking. Kimbia, which you don't see on here, but it's kimbia, is running. And now you've got just a little bit of Swahili. Very nice. Beautiful. The last activity, and we won't go all the way through it, is row, row, row your boat. And I just want to give you the Spanish to it. So if you're only doing row, row, row your boat in English, here is a way you can go to Spanish. I do row, row, row your boat with stretchy band, with parachute, and with hoops. But here's how it goes if you go in between the two. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Vamos a remar en un botecito. Rápido, 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 en un botecito. Vamos a remar en un botecito. Calma, 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 en un botecito. And then I give the kids the choice of rápido or calma, right? And so we're reinforcing the idea of fast versus slow, but we're using Spanish instead. That's some ideas, but there are so many others and things that you can explore. Really this idea of like how to diversify music making and listening is something that I'm super passionate about. And if the languages scared you away, please don't let them. You are welcome to email me. I'll put my email up at the end, and gladly send you a voice recording. No promises on the quality of my voice in that recording, but I am happy to sort of pronunciate things and send it to you so you can get it in your ear and you can practice, because like we said earlier, attitudes are caught, not taught. Are taught, caught, not taught. And so this is one way to help them catch positive attitudes. This is no longer forthcoming. This has been published and lives in the folder at this Google Drive link that has more ideas and activities, 2 curriculum packets for you, and your musical notes handouts as well. And here's my email. What questions, if any, can I answer? Because we are right on time. Man, I'm good. Fist to 5. Fist being this was not helpful at all. 5 being there's something that I can use in my teaching in like with immediacy. So show me where you're at. Beautiful. I love it.
Sorry, was this Google Drive sent? I'm on my phone, so I can't scan the QR code.
Karen, did you send